I'm going to leave quite a few of these carrots here because really what I'm doing today is thinning them out. And I thought, well, why don't we have some roasted carrots along with the turnips?
All I have needs, I have not provided.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out which ones to pull and which ones to leave. I want to pull some that actually have carrots to them, and I want to leave some that can benefit if I leave them in the ground and let them have 2 or 3 more months to grow. So there's a couple of things you got to judge by, and there's no real right or wrong, but the rule that I give myself is to leave a thumb's width between the ones that I'm going to leave. That way they'll have plenty of room to continue to grow and mature. But here we've got a bit of a problem. We've got 2 of them that aren't going to be very big at all. So I've got this one and that one. I'm going to pull this middle one, even though I don't think there's very much in there. But I certainly am not going to throw that away. There's a couple of bites there. Now what you do is push the soil back up around, and this one and that one is going to be just fine. I'm going to take this one because it's just a little bit too close here. Push the soil up. And then here we've got 2 growing right next to each other, so I'm just going to have to pull one. And I don't know why this one's yellow. I guess colored carrots got mixed in. They taste great too. Now what I do is just twist them off while I'm out here in the garden, and I leave the greens right there. Okay, I think that section is good. These are perfectly spaced. Look, a thumb's width or more in between. Now there's one right back here that's, well, I think I'm going to let that one grow, and I'm going to pull this one. Okay, see that? Just push the dirt up around it. And if this one will get enough sunlight, I think it will have a chance to grow a good-sized carrot. We still have at least 2 more months before we have to pull them to make room for the spring veggies. Press the soil down real good. Now this is the second time that I've come through and thinned these out. The first time I showed you how to do that was when they were very young and they were just too crowded to even make carrots. You can't let them get too crowded. And so at this stage, they need to be thinned out again. I'm just clearing the way so you can see what's going on here. So you see, if I were to leave all of these, we've got some that are bigger than others, and they're going to crowd out the younger ones. So to begin with, at this stage, remember, you've got to have a thumb's width. And you see, these are pretty crowded. And I've got some younger ones in here where some of the original seeds didn't sprout, or they got planted too deep, or something went wrong. And so I've got to get in here and thin these out so these younger ones can grow. I'm going to pull a big one just to make room for the smaller ones. It almost seems counterintuitive, but you'll see, I'm gonna space some of these so that the younger ones can continue to grow. And this is a really good sized carrot right here. Look how big that is. And I could leave it in the ground another couple of months and it'll make a gigantic carrot. But I'm gonna go ahead and roast that tonight. So what I've got left here, I think these will be okay. This one will be okay. This is, well, it's questionable. And then we've got 3 right here together. I'm going to pull this back one. Now these young ones are a little bit more of a challenge. I'm going to have to go ahead and pull them so that there's space in between. So see this one, if I pull that, it will leave a space in between. Be sure you press the dirt up once you pull the ones that you want to eat that night. So now we've got some space in between these just by thinning out a couple of them. And that's going to give all of these a chance to make some really big carrots. And I think it's very cool just to come out here to the garden and grab a snack or two whenever I feel like it. Now here's one that's never going to do anything. It's very, very small. See how little? It just got crowded out and the sunshine can't get to it. And that's the thing. If you've got too many carrots, they can crowd each other out and you can't get enough sunshine down in there for them. So here is where I have 3. Okay, see here? 1, 2, 3. These 2 right here, I'm going to leave them. This is the troublemaker right here. It's probably not going to have a carrot. It does have a carrot down in there. Oh, it has a bigger carrot than I thought, and it's already met an obstacle underneath the dirt here. Probably hard ground underneath the bed. That's not a bad sized carrot. Now those 2 have room to continue to grow. The ones in the pot are Imperator. The ones on the ground are Scarlet Nantes. So I'm not going to judge by how many they are. I'm judging the size. And, well, they're just a slightly different shape to them. But time will tell if this back half here, the second half of Scarlet Nantes, is going to do as well as the Imperator here. So I'm going to weigh these out and keep track of how many pounds of carrots I get out of this bed. Aren't they pretty? I'm pleased. I want to tell you a story, and I hope it's something that will help you. Way back before there were personal computers, I was learning how to garden. And so I read in a book that you could just scatter the seeds on a bed and then use a rake, a garden rake, to just rake through them, and that would thin them out good enough. And then you'd have this amazing amount of carrots. Well, I tried that one year and it didn't work. None of them grew up. They all just kind of sat there, and I figured, well, they must be too crowded. And so as the years went by, I learned to make a good bed and to make 2 rows in this wide bed. Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, well, I'm having so much success that way, surely I can put 3 rows in my bed. And you know what? The ones in the middle were so crowded out by the ones on the outer side, they didn't make anything. And I'm not exaggerating. They made nothing. So now I can't emphasize enough, thin your carrots out. If you want really good sized carrots, and look, these are only, what, 2.5 months old. I've got 2 more months to go. These carrots are going to be huge. So thin your carrots out. Remember the rule of thumb. When they're getting to be this size, this tall, space them out. Be sure you can fit your thumb in between each plant. And when you do pull the carrot out, be sure that you push that soil back up around the ones that you left behind. Let's see how. Okay, let's get the carrots on there. Okay, 1 pound, 12 ounces. If you pull carrots, just give them a quick rinse. You don't have to scrub them like I did. Just give them a quick rinse and then lay them out to dry. You don't want to store them if they're still damp. So these have been sitting out for about an hour. They're dry. Now it's probably about 70 degrees in my home, and that's actually too warm to expect them to keep at that temperature. So I'm going to put them in a Debbie Meyer bag and get them in the refrigerator. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. I've got lots of videos ready for you to watch.